Who has the most to gain in these playoffs? I've got a list. Tell me you can.
Just overall.
Yeah, I'll give you my 3, and you tell me up or down. Am I missing somebody? Somebody need to be higher or lower. I got number 1, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, and in some ways, then Sean McVay with him. We can go back. I got number 2. I got Mike Vrabel, most to gain. He doesn't have as much to lose, say, as Stafford, but he's got a lot to gain. And number 3, I thought about. I got Kyle Shanahan and DeMeco Ryans here, number 3, and I kind of put them together because they're in different spots. So anybody that comes to mind immediately that you'd put ahead of any of those guys that I'm missing?
Well, I'd put one guy. Part of Aaron Rodgers' legend, and I think Russell Wilson falls in this category too. They won a Super Bowl very early in their starting careers, and then they went on to greatness. But they were you talked about them like a Super Bowl champ from the moment they were like 24 years old, right? 25 years, whatever. Aaron might have been a little older, but you know what I'm saying? Like it was like his 3rd year starting. So Russell Wilson, what was it, year 2? They boom. And then he's in back-to-back Super Bowls. And then it carries you. Mahomes is a good example, right? And again, he just keeps playing well. Josh Allen, now he's in year 4, but what if he just beats the Chiefs, then beats the Titans and wins the Super Bowl and leads Buffalo Bills? And it's like, this guy's, he's already got the money, but then he's become the superstar Pro Bowl guy. And it's like, he's just Super Bowl champ, Josh Allen moving forward. He just gets to start like Rodgers and like Mahomes, you just start pelting, things to your resume. Just keep throwing more touchdowns, keep doing sweet shit, keep going to Pro Bowls as you're known as a Super Bowl champ. You kind of just get to just play a little freer.
Yeah, it's true. Because I would say I thought about putting Rodgers on this list, but honestly, I don't think
he's got the most to lose. He's got the most to lose, I think.
He's got the most to lose, but I think Aaron, it felt like Peyton needed that second Super Bowl for whatever reason. I mean, you can gain from it. I think Aaron is so established as what he is, his quote-unquote legacy. His legacy never comes up, whereas Peyton's was constantly coming up.
But I think his legacy is talked about with he's at a table in football heaven that a short list of human beings are allowed to sit down on. It's just like they might even be like Drew Brees, right? I mean, his is like 7-8 guys. And those guys many of them have more than one Super Bowl. And he, to me, I was thinking about this watching that week 3 game back. He made a couple throws. In our lifetime, I mean, we're the same age, there is a short list of, Brady, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, are just like, this is like the best player I've ever seen. These guys, I would put Aaron kind of in that crew.
Right.
But when I talk about that crew, Tiger or Brady, it's just the list of accomplishments of championships, LeBron, even Steph now. Aaron is just kind of the MVPs, the awards, the stats, he's blowing them all out of the water. But and part of it, though, he's the 1 seed. So it's not his teams are kind of shitty, he's carrying them. No, he's fucking kicking everyone's ass. He did it last year, too, and he lost. I thought last year was his year. Well, this year, I would say his teams even feels a little better. And he's even in more control, even though his stats aren't quite as good. But it just feels like their team is they're at home in Lambeau.
It's all legit. I'm just saying, I think he's already sitting at the table, the same table he'll be sitting at if he wins the second ring.
I agree, but he can just talk more shit. It's like, well, I'm better in LA.
For sure. Stafford, John. Listen to this stat. Jeff Schwartz texted me this stat. Matthew Stafford is under 30% against the spread against teams that are 500 or better December or later. He is 4-33 straight up as a dog December or later in his career.
A lot of bad teams.
I mean, it's
pretty bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me update the stat. November or later. It includes November and December. Under 30% against the spread against teams 500 or better, and 4-33 straight up as a dog.
Well, hell, I've been thinking about it off the top of my head. It's like he was covering with the Rams down the stretch. We bet on him once, and I saw him against the Niners and the Rams, so it's like, yeah.
Vrabel. He can get to his second AFC Championship game in 3 years. Tennessee, impressive. The reason I really like Tennessee this week, and I know you like Tennessee this week too, right? I don't want to speak for you.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. When do you get to get a 1 seed kind of with a chip on its shoulder? They can really
Saban
play the card. Yeah, Saban. Bryce Young. I I mean, they're a 1 seed, and people are talking about them like they don't belong there. They're getting Derrick Henry back, a rookie quarterback. I mean, I guess rookie playoff quarterback. Joe Burrow's not a rookie. I love Joe Burrow. Vrabel, I think, gets talked about like he's a fun coach to give credit to. But can he put himself in position to – you're not going to be on the Mike Tomlin pedestal until you win a championship. I don't know if he's going to do that. I think he needs a better quarterback to do that. But if Vrabel just going to be a head coach for the next 15 years, dominating in one place, I mean, I think he might be. And at this rate, 2 AFC championship games in 3 years, right?
Do you think him and Sean McDermott get talked about like the offensive coaches for guys being under 50?
No.
As head coaches
and I think he gets a little more credit than McDermott does because until like 2 days ago, I think people think McDermott's older than he is.
How old do you think he was?
I thought it was like 55. What is he? What do we say he's 45? 46?
I think 46, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Vrabel's 46 too, Obviously he played, so.
Yeah.
Sean just started coaching it young. Yeah, I just think that it's harder to get the pub. But, he's going to – one thing about McDermott, Vrabel's proven this, right? He lost coordinators, and he kept rolling. He lost Arthur Smith to a head coach, and their team was better the following year. That to me, I give him a lot of credit. Like Sean McDermott, what's going to be the big this offseason? Like, who's he going to do to replace Brian Daboll? Is their offense going to be as good? When Brian, I'm sure, feels like Brian Daboll's a lock to get a job. Miami, Chicago, whatever, Giants. And then, but McDermott might just be at the point where his quarterback, regardless who's coaching him, is going to be sweet. And that if he's in that spot, you would almost bet on the Bills long term. Like what Vrabel's doing is kind of crazy because his quarterback's not that good.
Yeah.
Like if you had to bet on one of the
worst
two
quarterback
franchises
in the playoffs.
Yes, by far. I mean, to me, I would rather have
by
Jimmy
far
than
worse
Daniel.
than Jimmy. I mean, you remember they played Thursday Night Football. Jimmy made critical mistakes.
By far might be, I guess, more trustworthy in these spots. I feel like. I could be wrong. I don't know. I just don't like Ryan Tannehill that much as a player.
Yeah, I don't either.
But if you had to bet $1,000 on a stock and the Bills or the Titans for the next 5 years, you'd have to take the Bills just based on the quarterback over the Titans, right?
Right.
But I don't know. I wouldn't bet against Vrabel.
He doesn't get the Mike. He doesn't get the Rex
legends.
Ryan credit that Rex got when Rex went to 2 AFC championships.
I do think that Rex was viewed more as like this crazy schemer, blitz a lot. The Titans don't blitz a lot.
That's true.
He was truly the defensive coordinator as well. Rex also, I would say, a little bit more of a self-promoter than Mike. Like Mike's just one thing about Mike for being this famous player that was part of does feel kind of like McDermott's very under the radar, right? He just doesn't really say much. He's just kind of low key. Mike, for being a famous former player, is pretty low key. He's not a big pump his chest. Yeah, he's just it's not ego driven. Did you see what's his name? I can't even pronounce the guy's last name. The pass rusher that the 49ers got from the Texans. He said, what was the difference between the Texans and your time with the Niners? He's like, well, it's not an ego-driven organization. It's not a circus. And I do think what's crazy is like Andy Reid, Mike Vrabel, Sean McDermott. These guys have egos, but they can place it at the door when it comes to their team because they know the team is more important than themselves, and they never put themselves as big as the team. And you and I bullshitted a little bit before we jumped on about Gruden. Like Gruden's ego was bigger than the Raiders. It just like John Gruden's personality and just himself was bigger than the Raiders. Like Mike Vrabel does not feel bigger than the Titans, though before Mike Vrabel they were kind of a joke, right? Sean McDermott definitely doesn't feel bigger than the Bills, and the Bills sucked before he showed up. And he just always feels kind of low key.
Yeah, and
that to me is a huge skill. Like Kyle can feel big sometimes, but I think that's just the hype as a coordinator. But he doesn't. He's not a rah-rah guy or jumping in the end zone like McVay.
He's a credit to other people guy.
Yeah. And that's why I don't have a problem with McVay, because I don't think he's a huge, he does a good job of, when he danced in the end zone, which is stupid, I actually felt like he's being, that's just him. He's just an excitable guy. Mistake, but I didn't hold that necessarily against him. I think it's something he's got to be careful about as he ages.
I think McVay fundamentally believes in getting good people around you, which that's not exactly what we're talking about, but I think he values what other people can do for him and for his team. In other words, he doesn't view it as it's me doing all of this. That's what I'm getting at. And yeah, I would say that's probably a pretty like even Harbaugh, who's a big deal. To me, Harbaugh usually promotes Harbaugh gets himself promoted within the context of the brand. He's wearing your hat. He's wearing your logo. He's talking about his own players.
People see like Jim out to dinner when, like in April, when he was the Niners head coach, wearing the Niners gear, right?
I want to be recognized. Don't need that, coach.
But that's just all he wore.
A lot to gain. I put Shanahan and D'Amico here. Look, the Niners, I don't think are going to go out and like hold Aaron Rodgers to 7 points and pick him off 3 times. And it's going to be like this Dick LeBeau, D'Amico Ryans performance. But we saw it happen with Robert Saleh very quickly. You win a playoff game against Aaron Rodgers, I think it'll be first and foremost Kyle. But something will have to happen that puts the spotlight on D'Amico. And he's similar, right? In that, like Vrabel, former player, low-key guy, not there pounding his chest. And I think
no one's been, last I checked, no team's hired coaches yet. There's still a lot of openings, right?
It's crazy.
I think that bodes well for some of these guys this weekend. And I would put him in that mix, right? Yeah. What if he does have a performance?
It's crazy. You don't really get to be, I guess the guys that get known for being coordinators are older guys. The second we sniff like, oh, might have something here, head coach.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd say Brian Daboll's waited a little bit. Now they've had success now for a couple of years.
Yeah, but you just don't get a lot. Who are the Dick LeBeaus and?
Oh, no.
Who are they? I mean, I guess Wade kind of.
Fangio was that for a while.
Fangio.
Old crouchety.
But older guy.
Yeah, older guy.
Brandon Staley didn't get a chance to become that. The DC with the Eagles, I mean, who knows? Could be a head coach.
Even Leftwich, like, he hasn't been a coordinator that long. It's like, he's going to be a head coach. Kellen Moore, people are like, oh, Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like Lovie Smith or Sean Payton, you're like, yeah, I was an OC for 7 years, at 3 different spots. It's just not the way the world works anymore. Everyone wants a podcast, thinks they want to be as big as Joe Rogan. Takes time. You got to just fucking do show after show after show.
So anyway, those were my 3, and I like your additions, and I'm sure like we could go through. Burrow has a lot, right? Burrow starts winning because that's the thing. Even though the Titans are getting undervalued, if Burrow wins the game, it'll be like, yeah, I mean, you beat Tannehill, then he'll have the moment. He's going into the AFC Championship game against.
I do think you get credit though for a road playoff game at Tennessee.
You do.
He'd have 2 playoff victories.
But it's not the same as the credit the team who wins on the other side of the bracket's going to get.
Oh, my God, that team. To me, if the Bills win, that'd be – I think Andy would be headed towards some, like, coaching more, royalty. He's already a Hall of Famer, but, like, be his 9th conference championship game. He'll be favored in the AFC championship game, and depending on what happens in the NFC, it'd be like, I kind of like the Chiefs matchup with whoever they're playing. Then all of a sudden, like, does he win a 2nd Super Bowl in 3 years? And him and Mahomes, like then we start talking about him as his resume is so long, and then you start putting Super Bowls on it. You're like, Jesus Christ, this guy going to win 4?
We didn't mention Brady. Brady could go to his 11th Super Bowl.
Yeah,
is he going to lose to Matthew Stafford at home?
I've had enough. Like, go away, Tom. I've seen 17 million documentaries with you. We've had enough.
Who has the most to lose? I think it's Green Bay. I think it's LaFleur.